You're listening to the Pursuing Alpha podcast, hosted by Charles Brandon Snyder.
Managers.
Mm-hmm.
We do
Internal investing with our CFA that we have.
Yeah. So our CFA, and then having a couple of, I think Dr. Starr, which is coming on tomorrow, which is the first time we've had back-to-back podcasts, which I'm excited about, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And first time we have Dr. Starr on. So he's got a PhD in economics, and he runs a major university's economics department. So
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that one. I've been looking forward to that one for months upon months upon months, because especially where we're at from a Fed level, that is going to be insanely interesting conversation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, God, whether or not they're going to raise or stagnate the rate hikes. I mean, and we just got through the debt limit.
Yeah. And so I think it was an absolutely horrible agreement. I mean, I don't see a good, and this is why I really want to have a conversation with Dr. Starr, because I know what I know, and I think he has a different take on it. But when every couple of years we have to go back and say, hey, if your own government can't balance their own damn budget, we're in trouble. Right. Everybody else in America has to be accountable for their own budget, but our federal government doesn't.
We need accountability.
And I think inflation is literally theft. It is the government's way of theft, because they get to devalue every single asset in our society with no accountability and complete impunity. That is a problem.
I would compare it more to a tax. So inflation is more like a tax where you don't really see it. You feel it. You don't really see it, though. You don't experience it until you're actually at the grocery store buying, I don't know, whatever you buy, just eggs, meat, beef, chicken, anything. And until you check out, I mean.
You don't think it's the theft, though? You don't say, so if you put $1 on the table and you come back 3 years later and that dollar is only worth 80 cents, you don't see that 20 cents evaporating instantly for no reason as theft?
That's why I see it more as like a tax, is because it does.
I see your point there.
Yeah, it does devalue somewhat the money that you're holding. So, and just how I see it is more of like a tax more than it is theft. Whereas someone's
I'm just jaded. I'm a little jaded, I think, after this year.
Yeah, no. Well, we kind of expected that this would happen, right?
Oh yeah,
so,
we did.
I mean,
it had to happen.
Every time that we hit like a debt limit or a debt ceiling, we're nearing the end of something. They always run last minute to accomplish it, and we already know it's going to pass, and we already know there's not really going to be any good benefit for the American people long term.
And to your point and to my point, I think it proves like the theft side and it proves the tax side. So go look at your federal income tax brackets. Have they changed very much in the last 5 years?
Somewhat, but not very. Yeah,
right. So if you're at 22% tax bracket inside your federal, right, your income did not go up very much. Right. Inflation went up. Everything else went up, right? So now you're actually taxed more, and it's the invisible tax.
Right.
So as you get the raises inside of there to offset the inflation, all you're doing is getting taxed more.
Yeah. And not only that, is that we actually had some reports come out last year that wages were increasing. So wages did increase. They just didn't increase as much as inflation did. So you're actually losing that monetary value over a longer period of time because your wages aren't keeping up with inflation. Again, they did increase, just not as much as inflation did. So either way you see it, your earnings are getting eaten by inflation.
Yeah, that's crazy. Your earnings are getting eaten up by inflation. Your salaries did go up a little bit. Could have thrown you into a higher tax bracket. Right. Now you're paying higher in taxes, and you're getting that double side of it. So I think financial planning in a whole is changing in our industry. I've seen a huge amount of change since I started 10 years ago.
Yeah, since I've started Texas Tech, I've seen a lot of change.